What's up, you guys? ShartimusPrime here, doing another LooseCollector action figure review on the 1/12 scale Burning Hammer Wei Li. I gotta give a big thanks to LooseCollector for sending out this early sample 2 review for you guys. If you want to see the latest from LooseCollector, check out their Instagram. Link is in the description below. All opinions are of my own. They did not ask me to say one thing or another about this product. And I gotta say, so far, it's pretty hefty. It's got a bunch of accessories in here. And this character, Wei Li, looks familiar. From my understanding, Burning Hammer is an original licensed product from LooseCollector, but I don't know, there may have been inspiration from a different character. I don't really know, but I know the Drunken Master story. Anyway, you can see all the different fighting styles written on the side right over here. And then on this side, you get the whole kamute or blood sport kind of deal going on with the fighting and all the punching and the kicking. And anyway, there's a read-up over there on the character, as well as little bullet points right there of everything inside. On the top, you get the Burning Hammer logo and then a UPC barcode at the bottom. All right, let's get to it and crack this thing open. And if you're trying to get your LooseCollector figures, you can do so at
Big! Get your big badass toys at BigBadToyStore.com. Click the link in the description below.
And here's both of the figures out of the packaging, and damn, they look fantastic. I gotta say, I really like the aesthetics of these figures. I like the articulation as well. I do have gripes I'm going to bring up though, but for the most part, these figures are pretty badass. All right, let's get a closer look, and we'll start with the Montez Li. So each of these figures come with 2 head sculpts, and I gotta say, these Montez Li head sculpts do look really good. I really like the sculpting and paintwork on them. I really like the color variation that we're seeing with the flesh tone. It's actually pretty good looking throughout the entire figure. Nice hair sculpt right here. As far as swapping the heads, it's not so tricky to do with the heads, but a little bit trickier with the hands, which I'll get into more in a little bit. But here's the alternate head right over here. I thought he had some paint on his cheek, but I'm not really seeing paint on his cheek. So yeah, they both look really good. And the figure also comes with 5 interchangeable hands, which we'll look at in a minute. But I do think the neck could have come down a little bit wider at the base of it, but otherwise I gotta say it looks pretty nice. And I think the musculature looks really well defined, especially with those beautiful paint apps accentuating those abs and those pecs and all the muscles and just making everything pop and look really good, man. So it looks like we even get some highlights right here, lighter tan. So really good color variation. Looks like we're getting 3 tones over here. I really dig. Yeah, man. Yeah, it came out looking really good. And you don't get weird gaps when you bend the joints all the way back. We'll get into the articulation in a little bit, but you could see, a little bit of color differences kind of change abruptly, like in this spot right over here. But for the most part, I like how the figure looks. Then we have this bottom section right over here, which reminds me of Fei Long, hella bad. Nice texturing in that sculpt. And then you can see the back of it right over there. So yeah, pretty good looking figure. Would have been nice to have the texturing going through those joints right over there on the back. And here's looking at the shoes. And we have the same bottom half on the Wei Li figure as well. As far as the hands go, yeah, you get just the set of fist hands right over here. Get the wide open hands and some other wide open hands, which I gotta mention, swapping the hands is one of my least favorite parts of this figure. You can see some paint chipping right over there. So yeah, it's not too fun swapping the hands. I feel like I have to heat them up every time, so that is a bit annoying. You have these hands as well, and then I really like these gesture hands that we saw earlier. These look very cool. And the figure comes with this little base right here, but I've found myself not really needing to use it, but I'm happy that it's there. And then here's Wei Li, which I really dig a lot, and I think he's the master from the Drunken Master Jackie Chan movie. That's what he reminds me of more than anything, and I really like this head sculpt quite a bit. The hair looks really good. I like the added black paint to his hat right over there. Some minor little bit of scuffage right over there. But yeah, head sculpt looks pretty good, and he comes with an alternate head as well as removable hair. So you get the alternate face right over here, which also looks great. So I love both of these head sculpts right over here, and you can just pop this hair off. Again, the figure needs a lot of heating, but I didn't have to heat it to remove the hair. But yeah, you can go ahead and plop that on there, and that looks pretty sweet. or you can just have him with no hair at all, which actually, if you angle it right, you can just have him as a bald dude if you wanted to, but he's got a big old empty square on the top, and get that ported on there. And you can see color variation between the head and neck, so they are different colors a bit right over there. And then you could see we have this beautiful looking gi with the texturing and black paint on it, which I really dig quite a bit, man. It looks really good. Again, swapping out the hands is especially tricky on this figure. He does come with 6 sets of hands, so he has these wide open hands right over here. He's got the judo chop hands, he's got these open hands, these wider open hands. I think these are the crane hands, right? And then he has a set of fist hands, and I did break the peg on one of these right over here. And again, there's a lot of paint chipping going on with this figure. You can see a whole bunch of that flaking on my review station right there. And then he does come with the same stand that we'd seen a minute ago, so that's cool that he has it. Then you get the added accessory of the wine, which looks really good. I like it. You can't take the cork out, but it's got this string attached to it right over here that you could throw over the shoulder. And again, I think the figure looks really good. We have the same waist and legs that we saw earlier, but, you know, in blue with nice black paint over it. I'm confused why there's one pin over here, but pinless up there. You know, both being pinless would have been better, or both pinned. I don't know. It's just visually jarring having one with the pin and one not. You know, but again, texturing right there would have been nice. Oh, here's looking at the back. They did paint the back of the figure, so I appreciate that. And yeah, there's looking at the feet, and you get the peg holes. Now, aside from having to heat up the figures, I really do like the articulation on them. They're fairly similar, but to go over Montez Li first, you could see that the head with the neck and head joint right there, it'll move up about that far. I wish there was a hinge right over here instead of a dumbbell joint, you know, but we have the neck and head, and yeah, he'll move up that much and just look down that far. So I wish we did get a hinge right over here for the head section. It does pivot fairly well, and you can see we have butterfly joints right here, which are a little bit limited, but oh, that's going as far back as that's gonna let it go. And yeah, it moves forward. So you get that much room at the butterfly joints. You get ball jointed shoulders that move above the 90-degree mark. You can move them in all the way, rotate a full 360. Do they shift up and down? They do not. You get the bicep swivel, and then you have the double jointed pinless elbows, and then all the hands turn side to side and hinge up and down. You have a diaphragm cut here that turns side to side that far. Feels like it stops right there, and it pivots a bit. And then you have a ball joint at the waist, and with both joints, he'll pivot that far, and he'll crunch forward that much, and back that much. Seems to move back further. You can get the figure to do the splits, which is really cool, and he can kick up quite a bit, not quite 90 degrees though. Back, upper thigh cut, and then semi-pinless double jointed knees. You do have a calf rotation right over here, or it's above the ankle rotation. Ankles also move down. They do move up, and he has beautiful ankle pivot. And then for the Wei Li figure, you have the same kind of articulation with the head and neck joints. I feel like he looks up a little bit more than the Montez figure and looks down more than the Montez figure. And you get some good pivoting right here. Of course, you know, you can turn the head side to side. The butterfly range of movement right here seems to be going a little farther than the Montez figure, in my opinion. So I do like that. And you can move the shoulder up a little bit above the 90-degree mark and in all the way, rotate 360, bicep swivel. Then you have the pinless double jointed elbows, and then all the wrists turn side to side, hinge up and down. You have a diaphragm cut right there, which you could twist around. I guess I could twist it all the way around. So that's pretty cool. Did I do a 360? There you go. You get a 360. You get pivot right over there, and it'll crunch forward that much and move back that much. You also have the same ball joint at the waist as the Montez figure. So with both joints, he'll pivot to the side that far, and with both joints, without moving the legs forward, he'll pivot or move forward just that much. So not a whole ton of movement right there coming from the waist joint on this figure, but it seems like we get more movement on the diaphragm. Then the legs are the same. You can do the splits, And yeah, same thing as what we'd seen with the Montez figure, so nothing new right over there. I have to say, between the two of them, I do like the articulation more on this one than the Montez. Now to measure out these figures, you can see they're about the same height, but the Montez figure is just a little bit taller, so they're both standing a bit under the 6.5 inch mark. And for only just a few size comparisons for you guys, you can see we have the Montez Li next to the Toys Street Fighter 2 Fei Long, and we have the SH Figuarts Bruce Lee. Then I had to bust out this Ryu figure from Toys next to Wei Li, and yeah, these figures are fitting into scale with these Toys Street Fighter figs pretty nicely. Then here's Montez Li and Wei Li next to a couple of other acquisitions that I've had for a while now that I haven't reviewed. We have the Crypt Morocco of the West Great Wolves figure right here, and we have Purgatory. Do you want to see me review either of these right here? Let me know in the comment section below. I still have those Sonic figures I wanted to talk about, but for real, I wanted to get to reviewing both of these right here. They look awesome, and I love that LooseCollector stepping outside of the monster figures and focusing on more grounded, down-to-earth figures. And here's the Montez Li and Wei Li figures next to your average 6-inch scale figure. We have the Marvel Legends Big Time Letdown Spider-Man. Oh, hey man, hey, can I get a little nip right there? Maybe that's what I'm missing. If I take a little sip, I'll be a badass fighter, huh? Thank you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to show some love by simply hitting that like button. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that join button if you wanted to get some of the perks that we offer here on the channel. Now, these two figures are pretty badass. I gotta say, they look great. I, for the most part, really do like the articulation on them, but I have my gripes mostly with swapping out the hands, having to heat up the figure. Pretty much every time I'm switching the hands out, I have to heat it up. So, you know, that is irritating, and there's some paint flaking, so there are some downsides over here. But damn, I really do like the aesthetics with these figures, and I really do like the articulation. It's not quite at the level as the Toys figures, but I still think they're really good and better than Marvel Legends articulation in a lot of ways. So there's a lot of awesome going on over here with these pieces, and I think the price point's fairly decent, like about 45 bucks a piece. You know, they're not coming from a huge corporate, you know, entity like Hasbro or anything like that. LooseCollector is a much smaller company, and I think for them at that price point, I'm gonna rate these separately. I'm gonna give the Montez a sud rating of,
I love it!
and I liked the Wei Li figure a bit more, and I'm gonna give that one a sud rating of,
I love it!
and I'd like to know what you guys think, so please let me know in the comments section below. If you want to see the latest in action figure news, you can find it all over at toynewseye.com, and if you want to stay in touch with me on social media, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, and on whatnot. I'll catch you guys later. Peace!
That's crispy.
Hey, new ShartimusPrime videos. Hey, you should click one. Yeah, click on one of them. Or subscribe if you haven't.
Your face,